amazing, incredible, outstanding, amazing, amazing.
Well, hello, welcome back to my kitchen. So tonight we're going to make something that I've made before on this channel, but it's been a number of years. I think I did it about 2 years ago, but I got the hankering for it. My only problem is my oven is still broken. Now you might be seeing these out of order where I'm talking about a broken oven and I'm actually cooking in my oven. That's because some of my videos I've already recorded before I lost my oven. So I'm trying to get some of the other meals mixed through so you're not only seeing me do stovetop things until it's ready. So, but hopefully, fingers crossed, a couple of more days and I will have my oven fixed. I do, however, have a broiler. And that's what I'm going to utilize because most of what we're going to be cooking today is prepared stovetop. I just got to put it in the oven just for a couple of minutes to melt some cheese. So what are we making, right? We're going to make stuffed shells. But we're not doing the stuffed shells with the ricotta and the mozzarella and all that. We're making taco stuffed shells. So without further ado, let's get it, let's go. Let's heat up those pots, come on. All right, here's everything you're gonna need and some, because I'm extra. All right, so you need some ground meat. Now I have ground turkey out there, and if you've been here for a minute, you know I am on a ground beef strike. I'm not paying all that money for ground meat. It hurts my soul. I saw just under 3 pounds of ground beef the other day for $21. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, I'm on strike or I have to get a sale, but anyway, end my rant. You need some ground meat or meat substitute. I have salsa out there. You can use taco sauce. You could use the salsa or not at all. That's out there extra for me because I feel like I want to use it. You need some cheese. Whatever cheese you want to use on your taco is fine by me. You're going to need jumbo-sized shells. You don't really need that onion because if you use the taco sauce, it has onions and everything in it. And even if you didn't use that, you still have onion powder, onion flakes. So there you go. Some taco seasoning. I'll leave a recipe to make it at home. If you don't have it, you can always make it if you have the proper spices. And you're going to need, I have some instant rice out there. That is my way of extending the meat to, not extending, stretching the meat so I can make it go farther. You don't have to do that. You could use extra meat. You could use beans. You could use whatever, but this is what I'm going to do here today. While I was making the video, I remembered I had some black beans in the refrigerator, a half of a can that I threw in there. So that will bring the cost up just a bit if you decide to add that as well. So since I've already chopped up the onion, I have water boiling. Well, it's heating to boil for the pasta. We're going to jump right in and start cooking the meat. Forgot to mention, I am also doing dairy-free. And when we get to the cheese portion, I'll be using the Daya Mexican blend for that. All right. In go the shells, hopefully without splashing it. I got a lot of water in the pot. You don't need that much water. All right, we're going to cook them per the instructions on the box to al dente. All righty, so into the pan. Now I squeezed out most of that collagen or whatever you call that stuff. I don't want to say what it's called, but all right. I squeezed out as much as I could without getting too much in the pan, kind of gross looking. All right, so all we're going to do is we're going to choppity, choppity, chop. Oh, I thought it was still frozen. And then we'll add the onion while we're almost done. Because I hate adding the onion and then pouring things off. But, all right, so give that a minute and then we'll put the onions in. To this, it's most of the way there. I'm going to add the onions now. And like I said, you don't really need the onions if you're going to add the salsa because it's all in there, but I like to add extra because we like onions. So we're just going to cook these until they're translucent. I probably should have stuck it in just a minute earlier while they were still a little bit more liquid in here. I hate when I get those little green things in there. To this, it's most of the way there. I'm going to add the onions now. And like I said, you don't really need the onions if you're going to add the salsa because it's all in there, but I like to add extra because we like onions. So we're just going to cook these until they're translucent. I probably should have stuck it in just a minute earlier while they were still a little bit more liquid in here. I hate when I get those little green things in there. All right, let's cook that down. All right, to the meat, I'm going to add the taco seasoning. Get it flavored into the meat a little bit before we add anything else. Okay, this next step I do, it's again extra. You don't have to, especially if you're using beef. I'm going to add some beef broth instead of water. Okay, and we're also going to add the salsa. But let me get this pushed over here for a second, because what I want to do is toast the rice. Just a little bit, instant rice. All right, let's give that a second. All right, gave it a nice little toasting. That's good. Mix it through. Now you can add the salsa right now, and I might just add a little bit, but I think I'm gonna wait until it's almost done and then add it in extra. Equal parts water and rice, and then I did a little extra because just so I can soak it up. Yeah, I'm gonna add it now because it's a big pan and it's got my rice not all the way under the liquid. Probably should have did this in a smaller pan. This is my favorite one. I use it all the time. So I'm gonna add about half of this jar or a quarter of the jar right now. I need some to put on the bottom of the pan so the shells don't stick. All right, so we're just gonna let that rice cook. Hopefully it'll cook in a little bit of liquid I have in there. It's just instant rice, so it'll be all right. I'm gonna add a splash more water just because the rice isn't covered. That's better. All right, let's get that going. I have also stretched this by adding beans. Black beans, pinto beans, whatever kind of beans you want, you could add that. As a matter of fact, I think I have some in the refrigerator. Let me see. I found some in my refrigerator. It's about a half a can. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to do this, but you can add whatever. There's a half a can of beans I had in the refrigerator. We like beans. We especially like, I'm just going to add it, black beans. So we're just going to let this come together. That's more than enough for what I want. The reason I'm making this particular thing is because I have a hankering for it, but also because we're going to be at CHOP for the next 2 days with Aiden, and this will give them leftovers when I'm not here. All right. Let me just finish up those shells and we're going to start stuffing. You can also add cheese here. I cannot until I do Eric's. Okay, so I already made Eric's. It's kind of off camera. I don't know if you could see it or not. I'm going to put a handful of cheese in ours. I did leave some in the pan in case I have enough and I can make some extra for Eric. Right now he's sitting at having 4 of them. I'm just going to put a handful of cheese in here and a pinch. I don't know why that pinch makes a difference, but it does. And I'm just going to mix it up. Again, you don't have to add the cheese in here. You could just add it to the top. But I kind of like a little extra. And it's the same amount of cheese that I'm using, whether I put it on top or I just put it inside. Actually, I think probably would be less if I didn't put it in here, but okay, so now what we're going to do, let me get a different spoon. All right. What I did to the pan was I took some of my salsa and I put it in a blender and made it liquefied, kinda, just so I had some for the bottom. Okay, we're just gonna take our shells, and this is a decent sized spoon here, and my pasta is al dente. And what I'm going to do is we're just going to put a big old heaping spoon in there. I'm going to start like not completely filling them, like stuffing them really full, just until I get through the shells. And if I could add more, I will. But I think that's a decent amount. I overstuffed Eric's a little bit because I want to make sure he gets plenty. That's Eric's. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep trudging along, taking my scoop and putting in. I'm actually going to do it over the pan, over the bowl over here, because if I drop it in the sauce, I have a heck of a time getting it out. And that's just what we're going to do. We're just going to line them up and keep going. Last time I did this, I needed a bigger pan. All right. Okay, so onward, forward. All right, my fingers are all full of this food. Stick one in there. So I made 20 shells here, and I made 5 shells for Eric. Let me wash my hands and we can finish this up. There's Eric's. The Daya Mexican blend is on top and inside. There's ours. I'm going to take what little bit we have left in here, and I'm going to try and pour it over top. Okay, I'm just going to put this down over top. Just try to put a little, I know I'm being stingy with it, but I want to get a little bit on each one. I'm trying to stretch it across too. Let me hit this in the blender. All right, that's all of it. I poured it back in here. Why? I don't know. All right. That's good. If it didn't have to spread this one jar over 2 dishes, it would have made it completely. All right. Let me just get what's left in this jar. I'll be right back. So you're going to take the rest of or some of your cheese, depending on how much cheese you want on top. I maybe used a half a cup in there. And we're going to put this in the oven. I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to watch this puppy because I'm using the broiler. I'm a little scared, but we'll be all right. All right, a little bit more, and oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add a little bit of parsley on top, just for the pretty. All right, I'm going to cover her up and stick her in the oven. All right, there's Eric's. His did wonderfully. Ours looks a little bit dry, but I had to leave mine in a little bit longer than his, and I am using the broiler, so just remember that. And there is ours. And there's my plate. I'm going to meet you at the table.
If you get any benefit at all from my content, you can help me out by clicking like, share, commenting, and definitely hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video.
Dinner time! I can't wait to eat it. I'm so hungry. It smells so good in here, guys. It's not even funny. Be careful. I cooked it under the broiler. It could be piping hot. It could be ice cold. I don't know. Oh, last time you had trouble. This time I'm having it. Let me just see if it's too hot. Oh, no, that's good. You ready? Let's go for it. Oh, that's good. We haven't had this in almost 2 years. The last time I made it was 2 years ago.
That's amazing.
That's super, super good. All right. Let me get everybody else fed, and we'll see what they think. All right? Bye-bye. Dinner's over. How'd they do? Boom. They did not finish. Eric ate 5 of them, though. Not everybody ate 5, just Eric. He was wolfing it down. Let's see what they thought about it, though. Aiden, what'd you think about dinner?
It was really, really good.
Tyler?
This was a very good dinner. I loved it.
Eric, what'd you think about dinner, if we couldn't tell already?
It was amazing. I ate all of it. I thought it tasted really good.
There you go. Yeah, he ate it all. He was scraping it out of the pot. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I haven't had it in 2 years, and I don't know why I waited so long to make it again. So there you have it. I hope you try it. I hope you like it. Leave me a comment. Either way. See you later. Bye.